Anastasia.
Hi, Ray.
Well, it's good to have you back at the program.
Thank you.
So you have a big week coming up called the Community Development Block Grant Celebration Week, right? Is that correct?
It is, yes, in April 2nd.
So maybe you can tell our viewers, what the Community Block Grant is, how important that is to the city and what it means. Because, when you hear that term, you don't always think of programs or services or any of the other things that the block grant can fund.
Right, yeah, the Community Development Block Grant Program is a program that's been around about 40 years.
Wow.
From the federal government, and it is, our tax dollars at work in our local communities, the federal tax dollars. So this is the way that they come back into the city, and so we as a city are able to spend those dollars, and the intent of the program is for Community Development Block Grant to be a very broad program where you can do infrastructure or housing or public service grants. So there's a lot of flexibility in the program. It just has rules that we as a city need to follow. And the point of the Block Grant Week is to celebrate all of the great things we can do with this funding in our local communities, and to let our legislators know as it's budget time what kind of programs they're funding, what they're doing with this money, and how important it is for us to keep getting that funding stream into our community.
Right. So it's a national program by the federal government under the Housing and Urban Development Department of the federal government. So how do they allocate dollars to the city of Salinas? You mentioned a funding stream.
Right, yeah, so there is a formula at the federal level based on housing units and the age of the housing stock and demographic factors and other factors like population. So that's a standard formula that HUD, Housing and Urban Development, utilizes annually. So annually we know just about the same amount of money we hope to get. So our biggest hope is that the dollars continue at least the steady funding levels. So for Community Development Block Grant, we usually receive about 1.9 million. And for the Emergency Solutions Grant, we usually receive about 1.7 or 170,000. And the Home Program, which is also another program related to our Community Development Block Grant, we usually receive about $550,000. So, and we also have program income from prior projects and developments that create program income that we're able to utilize and invest back into current projects.
So maybe give us a specific idea of like the kinds of programs, particularly this fiscal year, that the block grant is able to fund, and who it serves, and what might be the objective or goals of that particular program.
Sure. One great thing about the City of Salinas is we've never been afraid to try different types of programs with the money. And it is a little risky as a community to say, wow, let's try public service grants. And within our public service grants, we can fund youth activities, senior activities, just programs for many different parts of our community that really need it. So food bank is one. And looking at food bank year after year, I look at the applications and I see, wow, they're giving food to almost every nonprofit within the community. So I'm starting to see the connections within our nonprofits and the different public service funds we are giving out. So some are for homeless services to have people go out and do outreach, and the youth services are a great program as well, because we're giving funding to some of the, it could be Boys and Girls Club or Girls Inc. or Girl Scouts. Those are all programs that the city is funding, and really, really great funding. And seniors, seniors really need services, and the community block grant is for seniors 62 and over. And every year we fund legal services for seniors, for example.
Okay.
They're one of the programs that are annually funded. So these are the different types of agencies we might fund. We're in the action plan time right now,
Right.
which means we're trying to determine, we know we might get this certain amount of funding. We have to create a plan for HUD, or Housing and Urban Development, and let them know, here's our plan with our funding. And we also have a 5-year plan that we try to consistently meet certain goals within the 5-year time frame. And annually we determine, like you just said, okay, what are our goals for this fiscal year, and how can we meet them?
Right. So you mentioned specific kinds of public services. So you said you can also fund infrastructure as well as housing, right?
Right.
So maybe you can give some examples of some of the more successful projects you've been able to use block grant or ESG or home funds to support in our community.
Sure. Yeah, and we'll get into economic development too, which is a very specific and special program that we've been able to utilize in the past, which is great. So for housing, one of our big projects has been Vista de la Terraza. This was a 40-unit development that was about to lose its affordability period. So instead of letting this program lose its affordability, Chispa came in and they were able to, they agreed that they would take on the project and that they would continue the affordability period. So the city was able to come in with, I think over a little $2 million, a little over $2 million, to help rehabilitate the property and to invest in keeping it as an affordable housing development. So that's an example of one of our affordable housing developments.
Yeah, and how many maybe families or individuals were helped with that project by keeping it affordable?
At least 40 families. And
Wow.
we do know a lot of people lived there for at least the past 25 years. And imagine if it had gone market rate. And so some of the people have been aging in this building, and it's their home. And to prevent seniors from having to move out and find housing somewhere else that they may not be able to afford, it was critical to save that housing as an affordable housing development. So very critical for families. There were families there, but we know there were seniors there. So this is, just a great project, and we're very grateful to Chispa for taking on the challenge of this project. And another challenging project that we're working on is the 90-unit development for Moongate Plaza, which is at 21 Soledad in Chinatown. And this project is 90 units of housing, and it will be a couple of 2-bedroom units, one for the manager and one for maybe a family, but mostly single-room occupancy built, homes for 90 people right in Chinatown. And this is a great use of block grant fund. There should be a retail development on the bottom and then 90 units on top. So we're thrilled about this project. That's with MidPenn. And they came in and obviously we needed some investment from the city, and we're able to utilize our community development block grant program and our home dollars to put into the project. So it's a combination of a couple of years of funding plus 2 funding sources.
Right. So you funded essentially the pre-development costs of getting ready the property ready for development, and then the housing agency or MedPen then provides the rest of the equity financing to construct it, right?
Right.
So it must be several millions of dollars. I think, and you can correct me, it might be up towards a $40 million project with about $5 million from the block grant or home grant.
Right. We came in, I think we're coming in total about $2.4 million in block grant and home combined over a 2-year funding source. And you're correct, it is a little over $40 million we're estimating at this point. And we did come in with the pre-development, and that was strictly block grant funding. The site needed some remediation of soils. It's an area that's been, we've had several different types of buildings from the late 1800s there, and you get lead-based paint in the soil and
Right.
little things like that you need to remediate the soil and put fresh soil down and begin the development. So we're in that stage now where we're just finishing up the remediation period, and we're ready to begin with the actual construction, hopefully in the next couple of weeks here.
So the city or the city council makes the final decision, and then that plan of action for spending for this upcoming fiscal year then goes through the housing and urban development process at the San Francisco and probably at the federal level, at national level.
Yeah,
right?
definitely. And once a year, we as a community, we're with the National Community Development Association.
Okay.
We are members, and I'm on the board of the National Community Development Association now. And we go to their annual conference in Washington, D.C., and that gives us an opportunity. This year we met with Panetta's office and Dianne Feinstein's office, and they were welcoming, and they listened to our what programs we have. We, said, here's our programs. We had a great little brochure about all the wonderful, things we're able to do as a community with our block grant funding. And, the representative in Jimmy Panetta's office, Congressman Panetta's office, he knew what our projects were.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it was fantastic that they had that local knowledge. And so we do try to inform both of our local office and our Washington, D.C. office, and let them know, hey, this money is so important to our community, and we want to continue doing as much as we can and leverage it. And one of the things that we talked about earlier was the economic development.
Right.
And this is not every community kind of wants to jump into economic development.
It's risky sometimes, right?
Yeah, it can be, and because you as a city are saying, we'll be the bank, and we expect you to pay us back,
Right.
But we were able to work with National Development Council, which is an organization that helps communities leverage dollars and create economic development programs. And so we were able to utilize $400,000 of CDBG as a seed fund for the Grow Salinas Fund.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, which at
Yeah.
the National Development Council level they call Grow America Fund.
Mm-hmm.
So our $400,000 investment was able to fund about 7 different businesses, and these are not tiny loans. These are about $100,000 to about $500,000 loans. And that $400,000 investment was I leveraged with another $150,000 from the city general fund, and that ended up creating, I think it was about 2.97 million in funds
Wow.
loaned out to different businesses, and we've had great success, especially the 2 that received the $400,000 in initial seed funding from CDBG. And they were both businesses. We have Central Coast Sign and Design
Okay.
and North County Machine Shop, Industrial Machine Shop. They were both able to expand their businesses. They started out in small buildings, and they were able to move on to larger buildings. They were able to buy very expensive equipment that just took their businesses up a level and a notch. And with that, what the Community Development Block Grant and what the Federal Housing and Urban Development want to see when we use this funding for economic development is, did you create and retain jobs? And in both cases, there were significant numbers of jobs created and retained. And in both cases, we were able to at least prove at this point 73 jobs.
Wow.
Which is 73 jobs in the local community, helping to bring people's incomes up. And we were able to find out there's leveraging with different businesses, so within the community. So it's really empowering a lot of our small businesses. We typically do a proclamation, and we hope to have this interview and interviews with our businesses that we worked with on the website.
Okay.
Usually we might try to go to the businesses, but this year we thought, let's try something new, is use technology, right? So
Right.
that's what we're doing here. And then we're going to, have a proclamation at City Council. And then we're also going to end the week with some awards for great projects and invite our community and invite all of the public services and all of our people interested in our funding to hopefully a little luncheon where we just have a burrito and a cupcake and celebrate the week and have our invite our elected officials. And I know Mayor Gunter's always there, and Gloria De La Rosa, and so we really enjoy that one day where we say, this is everybody's worked hard. All of our public service agencies, all of our Public Works Department, I have to put them in there, I almost forgot, was our Sherwood Community Center.
Yes.
And that's another project that we're working on right now that we're funding, and that may need more funding coming up. But this is another project which should be basketball courts and
Right.
all sorts of fun
Recreational
stuff.
center.
Yeah, recreational stuff. So,
Right.
and we also did name the award that we give out at the end of the year here. Our end of our our celebration week after David Swanson, and it's the
Okay.
David G. Swanson Award, and he was my predecessor before Grace Aston, who was also wonderful for 5 years. She was here, and Dave was here for 25 years, and he built the program, and a lot of the housing and a lot of the community development you see around the city is due to his hard work and a lot of other wonderful people who worked hard in community development. So that's the way we celebrate that award.
Well, it's been enjoyable, again, to have you on the show and look at what we're doing with the Community Development Block Grant and all the funding that the city's received, and you're managing that whole effort. And it looks like you can count a lot of successes that touched a lot of people in Salinas.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's a pleasure.
we'll get you back on, but we enjoyed the session with you today. Thank you, Anastasia.
Thank you, Ray.
Hi, Maria.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having us here.
So, in community development, you work with businesses?
Yes, I do. In community development, I work as the assistant project manager liaison to many of our businesses. Our business community started the formation of the current business association in East Salinas, known as SUBA. Worked with a group of business owners to actually form the bid, and have been working with the business community ever since.
Right. Well, you are involved in a very important program. We learned that from Anastasia Wyatt. One of the programs that's funded through the Community Development Block Grant and from the city is the Grow Salinas Fund, which invests in businesses. So I think this is a good time to introduce our guest who owns a business that actually has participated in the program.
Yes, I'd like to introduce Julio Gil, who is a participant of the Grow Salinas Fund, and has actually started his business in Salinas and has been able to really take advantage of the program and has done a great service also to the community. He's also not only a resident but an alumni of LSL High School. So I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce Julio.
Well, welcome, Julio.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you are in the Central Coast Design?
Yeah, Central Coast Sign and Design.
Yeah, sign and design,
Yes,
sorry.
yes, no, that's fine. Yes, like Maria said, I'm local. I graduated of LaSalle High School, went to elementary, junior high, and high school here. Also attended Hartnell, and then transferred over to CSUMB.
You are really local.
Right, local as they come. So we're pretty fortunate to have the opportunity to start the business here now 15 years ago, and it's pretty neat to see this come full circle with Maria. She was actually my first banner I ever sold was Maria in the city, and now here we are, able to take advantage of these funds that were presented to us by Grow America Fund in the city of Salinas, and it's pretty awesome.
Great. Maybe we can talk a little bit more about how you find the businesses and how you found maybe Central Coast Sign and Design and how that worked.
Yes, as Julio mentioned, he did do the first banner for
Yeah.
Suba, and I was really excited to get to know Julio when I first started working with business owners. So when the opportunity came to be able to offer loans for our local small businesses, of course, I approached Julio and informed him of this great opportunity. And at the same time, Julio was looking to expand his business and his location. He had already done some preliminary expansion, but needed more equipment. And I think it was a perfect fit. He applied for the program, met with Andrea, who's our consultant with Grow America Fund, and we were able to secure a loan for Julio. And I think it's been great. It's been great for many of the companies that Julio does work with, our local companies as well. And just, I have seen him grow throughout these, many years. As he mentioned, he did the first banner for me, and he was in a very small location, a very small office. And to see just how he has progressed throughout these years is very satisfactory. So.
Well, it has to be. Signs and designs can cover a lot of different products, I assume, and services, actually.
Yes, yes. So yes, like we said, we started 15 years ago as a graphic designer, and I kind of got involved with the sign industry. And we do a little bit of everything. We do everything from we do graphic design, we do logo design, we do printing, we do banners, we do screen printing, we do embroidery, we do a little bit of everything. And but with the funds, we were able to expand it and get some new equipment that we didn't have. And we were able to keep more business local too, because before we'd outsource certain products, and now we're able to do them in-house. Our turnaround could be a little quicker. We mentioned earlier, you guys were mentioning Chispa. They're one of our good clients.
Oh.
And yeah, Alfred's a great guy. We work with him and his crew a lot. And being able to handle their jobs in-house now, makes a big difference when we are working on a project with apartment complexes, and we need something pretty quick turnaround. We can now do it in-house, and it helps us take advantage and help these clients that need something in a quick turnaround.
So, can you give us generally the size of your business, and how does it go beyond Salinas? Is it to the valley? Is it to the rest of Monterey County?
Yeah, good question. We have clients all the way, San Jose, San Diego.
Oh, wow.
I mean, there's clients that, different areas we go to, wherever we need. Sometimes people find us online and they'll ask us if we can do something. They like our work, so they'll hire us to do it. So we'll go anywhere someone's willing to, have us go. But we do have a lot. We do a lot of local though. I think that's that's how we got started, and that's what I love to do. I love working with small businesses. I think that's one of the most satisfying things, is to work with a really small business and give them an identity. We have a lot to offer. We can bring a good design to the table, and we can do a great job for a really small business, and we've done that with quite a bit of them. La Plaza Bakery, someone we both know being
famous
one of
bakery.
them. Yeah,
Yes.
and they were actually one of the first logos we designed 15 years ago. But being able to help out small businesses is very fun. And then we go, we work with Chispa, we work with Taylor Farms, we work with TNA. We work with some of the design companies around, partner with them to be able to create signage where they design and we create signage. So we're pretty blessed to be able to do local stuff, which is what we really like, but also, we can do projects outside the area as well.
Right. You're going to stay local, right?
For sure. Always. Yeah, no, I love Salinas. We were here, my parents came here and worked the fields, and, we worked the fields, my brothers and I, and worked the fields as well. And, to have this opportunity to, start a business here, and it's kind of something I've always wanted to do since I was a kid. And I feel very blessed to be able to do so. And now being able to expand and get machinery that we've never, I always kind of dreamt about, never thought I'd be able to get, is a blessing.
So, you hire people.
Yes.
Do you kind of focus on local talent?
I definitely try to pick up. All our talent's been local. I love local, and I want to hire local. When I first got out of school, I didn't know where I would find a job, in the creative field. I didn't even know about many jobs. I'm sure there might have been some, but I didn't know so much about them. So, when we did get fortunate enough to start the business, that's been my thing, is I want to attract local. I really do. I want to attract local clients. One thing we're going to start doing this year, which we're pretty excited about it. Also, we're going to start it at my high school, also high school, but I want to go over to the other high schools and I want to offer scholarships to graphic design field students.
wonderful.
I definitely want to do that because I want them, kids that are in high school right now, to know about us and hopefully go to school, learn graphic design, and want to come back to Salinas. You know, that's what we need. A lot of our youth coming back to Salinas to make this a better place. And I want them to know that, you know, we want to hire local creatives and we're going to be here. So we're hoping they go and they come back and they you know, hopefully we get to, you know, employ them so that we can, you know, keep the local feel. You know, there's nothing that, you know, I work with a lot of ag, you know, work with a lot of, you know, we work with the Rodeo as well. We do nonprofits. My brother has a nonprofit basketball academy here in Salinas, Skill Basketball Academy. And, you know, I think in order to really understand our clientele, you know, like TNA and everybody, and I used to work the fields. So now we're designing and making signs for people in the fields, or, you know, things that relate to, you know, a lot of the signs that the, you know, people that don't even speak English, you know, a lot of times when I first got started, my biggest thing was, you know, a lot of these signs are being made, right? And I'm asking, are you guys doing them in Spanish? I'm like,
There you go.
oh, that's true. And like, like
Good question,
They
right?
were all they were, you know, everybody who's reading these, or we're targeting it, people that don't even speak English, you know. So are we making these signs in Spanish? You know what I mean? And after that, it's like, oh, you know, that's true. Yeah, start making them in Spanish, right? So now, you know, that's been one thing that we've done a lot of, and it feels good just to do. You know, we understand that the target audience and, you know, who they are, and, you know, and then us be able to assist our clients with letting them know, you know, we have to make the signs a certain way because, you know, we want to make sure that whoever's reading this, you know, the signs are going to do what they're, you know, intended to do. So, yeah.
Great. So what will you tell a business or a prospective candidate for the loan program? How do they go about reaching you or finding out about the program, and
Yes.
ways that might be useful for them in terms of making that initial, you know, step to at least doing some research.
At least doing some research. Yes, and as Julio mentioned, you know, for some business owners, it is a little scary.
Right.
You know, we've done quite a few, you know, we've done the press releases, and I've done some interviews with different, you know, radio stations and the TV, and so really encouraging people to apply or to call us to get some information. And I get calls from folks who are just even interested in starting up a business. So we've partnered with a local nonprofit agency to do classes on how to start a business, what you need to do.
Yes.
So there's information for anyone who is really interested in not only just starting a business, but then perhaps those who have a business already and who are looking for some financial assistance. So I'm glad that we're able to offer, you know, those tools, because it's important for business owners to be able to have access to not just financial information, but also to loans. And so at the City of Salinas, we're now able to offer that. So again, creating those partnerships with others, such as CalCoastal, who now has a small microloan program that we're able to help assist and refer clients to. So I always tell folks, yes, it is a little scary, but then I also point out to those success stories like Julio and the others who have gone before our program, and I invite them to go out and visit their business and have a conversation with them, since they've already gone through the program. And I find that to be very beneficial, and some do come back and say, okay, I want to apply. You know, now I'm ready and I want to apply. So that's been very rewarding.
Well, it's been wonderful having you on this show, Julio, and it sounds like you're on your road. Well, you're successful now. It looks like you're going to be scaling up and even going to be more successful in the future.
Well, thank you for having me. It was great.
Yeah. Well, Grow Salinas, and you're from Salinas, and Alisal High School.
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, it's sort of you may be the poster person in
Yes.
business for
I don't know about that.
the fund, right?
Yes. Thank
Maria,
you.
it's very good to have
Thank
you on the
you.
show. I know in the second portion we'll be talking to another successful
Yes, we will.
business that another client that you've
Another
been able to
client.
help.
Yes.
Well, thank
Yes.
you very much, both of you.
Thank you.